Hey everyone! In this video today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this really cool bookmark hole. So bookmarks are quite a trend on Bracelet Book. They're pretty cool and really fun to make. There are many patterns that are great for them. So this was a requested video as well, and the person who originally made a video on this is called Handmade Linen. I will leave this video that was made by her in the description that I am talking about. Now, before I get started with this video and show you guys how to make a loop for your bookmarks, please subscribe down below to my channel and join my Google Classroom, which I always do link in the description. So, without further ado, let's get started. So for your base strings, you're going to be needing as many as you have, but you're going to be cutting half as many, so you're going to be able to double it over for your bookmark. And if you have an odd amount of colors, then I would suggest cutting one more base strand than the amount of strings you need. So for example, I do have an odd amount of strings I need here. So my pattern calls for 23 base strings, and I cut 24. So I pretty much just cut 12 base strings. So I'm going to be doubling them in half. And do that as well. So if you have 15 base strings that you're going to be needing, cut 8 so you have 16. Because I'm going to be showing you guys what to do later on. So once you have your base strings cut, you're going to be taking another small string. Maybe I'd cut it 4.5 inches, because you're going to be taping it to your desk or your workspace, and you're going to be attaching your base strings on there. So once you have your 4.5 inch small string taped down to your table, you're going to be needing to take your base strings. You're going to be separating one of them, and you're going to be doing a lark's head knot onto this string right here. If you guys don't know what a lark's head knot is, I have a tutorial on how to make them in my keychain tutorial. I'll leave that link in the card and down in the description if you guys don't know how to do that. Basically what a lark's head knot is you're going to be taking the center of one of your base strands, and you're going to be just lifting your small string that you've taped down onto your workspace. You're going to be sliding the loop underneath, and you're essentially just gonna take the loop and thread the other halves of the string into the loop, and then pull it tight, and then sort of adjust it so it's to the left side. And you're going to be repeating this until all of your base strings are onto this string right here. So once I'm finished, for example, I'm going to be having 12 lark's head knots on this piece of string. Once that is done, you're just going to be taking a leading strand. So you're going to be cutting the background color for your alpha pattern, whichever one you're going to be doing. Mine's going to be the same color as my base strings. So with that string, you're going to be taping it down to your workspace, and you're going to be just doing knots onto all of these strings as a row. Once you are finished with the first row, you're going to be taking 6 strands in the very center, or as many as you can. That's an even number. So basically with those 6 strands, you're going to be just separating them by just, I guess, placing them atop your bookmark. And with that, you're just going to be taking your leading strand, and you're going to be doing backward knots all the way until after you reach this one. So the last string you're going to be knotting on is going to be this one right here, just before it hits those 6 strands in the middle. And once you have that, you're just going to be doing another row with this leading strand. So you're just basically going to be doing a forward knot with the leading strand onto the string that you just knotted with. So it should be the last one before you hit these 6 strands up here. And once you have that, you're just going to be doing the exact same thing on the other side. So just take another leading strand. Make sure it's a little shorter than this one because we're going to be using this base strand on the right side, because we're going to be using this leading strand on the right side to be knotting the rest of the alpha pattern after the loop. You're just going to be taping it up back again to your workspace, and you're going to be doing the exact same thing as we did with this right side. You're going to be just doing 2 rows on this left side, of course excluding these 6 strings. Next, take the 6 strands that we separated here in the middle, or if you have 8 or 10 or something like that, you're going to be splitting them in half. So since I have 6 here, I'm going to be just, referencing 6 strands here. But if you guys have, more or less amounts of strings, then just follow this along with the amount that you have. For this, you're going to be separating them in half. So you should have 3 on each side if you're doing 6, 4 on each side if you're doing 8, or 5 on each side if you're having 10, etc., depending on how many strands you have. So we're starting on the right side here. You can start on either side you want, but I'm going to be starting on the right side first. And basically I'm just going to be separating 2 out of the 3, the central 2 out of the 3, so just the 2 on the left side. Take the left string and do a forward knot onto the right strand to the right of it. And then you're going to be taking the next strand just to the right of the knot that we just made, and you're going to be doing a backward forward onto both those strings together. And then you're going to be taking this next string, so the string that should be right here that you've knotted lastly onto on the second and third row. You're going to be taking that one and you're going to be doing another backward forward knot onto these 3 strands all together as a bundle. And then repeat the exact same thing on the left side. So just do a knot in between these 2 strings in the bundle of 3. And then take the third string, the string to the left of the knot that you just made, bundle those 2 strands that you knotted with together, and you're going to be doing a forward backward knot onto both those strings together. Next, take the string to the very right of the second and third row you've done on the left side, and you're going to be doing a forward backward knot with that bass string onto those 3 strings together as a bundle. And then starting again on the right side, you're going to be excluding the string that you knotted with onto the bundle of 3, and you're going to be taking 1 of those 3 in the bundle on the right side, whichever one you want, it doesn't really matter. You're going to be taking that one and doing a backward forward knot onto those 2 remaining bass strands together as one bundle. And so this is pretty much like a teardrop loop part of a loop if you're doing a bracelet. You're just going to be repeating the exact same thing. So just taking the right bass strand and do a backward forward knot onto the remaining bass strand. Now repeat the exact same thing on the left side by just taking the left bass strand out of this bundle and excluding the string you knotted with onto the bundle. You're going to be taking the string that you picked out of the bundle of 3 and doing a forward backward knot onto those 2 other bass strands together. And then take the last string out of the bundle of 2 and do a forward backward knot onto the bass strand to the right of it. Next, you're just going to be tying these 2 center strings of both bundles together. And starting back on the right side, once again, you're going to be taking that leading strand, and with that, you're going to be starting a new row. So basically you're going to be knotting on all of the strings in the row, excluding these. So the last string you should knot onto is this, which should have been the second from last string knotted onto in those previous 2 rows. And then once you have that done, you're going to be taking the strand that you knotted onto in the previous teardrop loop part, the one that should be closest to the leading strand. You're going to be just putting the leading strand under that bass strand, like this. And then you're going to be taking the leading strand again, since it's on the left side, and you're going to be doing a forward knot onto that bass strand we just went underneath. And then you're going to be just continuing on with the rest of this row. And then with the next row, you're going to be doing the exact same thing. Just going to be knotting on all those strings. This time including the string that you went underneath and did a forward knot onto. So that would be this one right here. And that should be the last string that you're going to be knotting on in this row. And then I'll show you guys what to do from there. And after you have that, just repeat the exact same thing until all of your base strands are knotted onto and half of it is filled up with knots. And then after that, just do the exact same thing on the other side, just mirrored. So you'll be doing forward knots instead of backward knots onto these strings. And then remember to put your leading strand under the base strand and keep knotting from there onto the base strand. So this is what your bookmark hole should look like after you have completed the rows and done a finishing row just with your leading string. And cut off the other leading shorter string at the very end. So I apologize, this is a different bookmark I'm referencing. The other one did not survive, and yeah. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more bracelet content from me in the future. And I will see you guys in the next video.